and I'm going to get Joe Smeltzer on now of Nittany Sports Now to talk some Penn State as the Nittany Lions do make the NCAA tournament. I don't know if anyone thought this was the case. Certainly, casual fans probably wouldn't have thought this was the case before the season. Penn State not only makes the NCAA tournament, but on the same day as his live reaction show for the Sports Now Network, they almost win the Big Ten tournament. What that would have been if that could have happened, and for this program and for the coaching staff, which they built up in only a couple years now. Again, Joe Smeltzer of NSN. So I got to ask you this because this is really a question for Penn State and that program. And I will slide you back on there as I see your connection has fixed itself. So again, Joe, welcome back to the show. What significance does this have, though, for the Penn State program? They're in the 7-10. They're facing Texas A&M. It's going to be in Des Moines. I mean, you can say what you want about the bracket and the matchup, and they almost won the Big Ten tournament, etc. They lose by 2. That might be a sour taste, but you get in the NCAA tournament. This isn't a program that's used to being there. I mean, a lot of Penn State fans who follow the football program, let's face it, they pick another basketball team because the basketball program used to be irrelevant. They're now in the field. They're in the NCAA tournament. They almost won the Big Ten. They're red hot right now. What's the significance for this program moving forward to even just get in?
First off, thanks for having me, Mike. I was in on my phone and then I got my computer figured out, so I kind of pulled it.
You're good. This is better.
Second.
We got more video with you here. You're good.
Yeah, it's huge. This doesn't happen often at Penn State, right? You look at since they've been in the Big Ten, they got in 96, got in 2001, got in 2011, and only in one of those years did they win a single tournament game. Their last tournament win was back in 2001. And I don't think that's really talked about enough. You talk about they haven't made the tournament since 2011. They haven't won a tournament game since 2001. So that's even a longer drought. But it's just absolutely huge. And I think the way they did it, going back only 2 weeks ago, blowing that 19-point lead at Rutgers, it looked like the team was dead in the water as far as March Madness went. Going back before that, they lost 3 straight and were 5-9 in the conference. Weren't even on Joe Lunardi's radar at all as far as bracketology, and not just Lunardi, any other bracketologist. But for them to win games in dramatic fashion, you had the 2 regular season wins at Northwestern against Maryland, and then winning the 3 Big Ten tournament games, all of which were very close, coming down to the wire. Just an absolutely fantastic time to be a Penn State basketball fan, but the good times are not really subdued, I would say, but definitely the fact that the rumors circulating of Micah Shrewsbury's departure and if he'll go, if he'll stay, that's really just a trade-off to when a school that doesn't have the basketball prominence that Penn State does gets a good coach and starts to win. So.
Yeah, again, if you build up a football program that really hadn't cared about basketball and has almost no basketball history of note into a legitimate tournament team that almost wins the Big Ten tournament, we're not talking a bad conference here either. It's a major conference that has teams this year. It's done well this year. They almost won it. So if that happens, yeah, you're going to be attractive to other programs. I know Georgetown was brought up, other programs that have a lot more history that are looking to rebuild and that are worse off than you. That's just going to be the case. But in the here and now, you're a Penn State fan. You're not going to trade the season and say you'd rather be bad just to keep a coach. Because if you're bad, you're not going to want to keep the coach. You want to have a situation where you're building something up and you're winning and you're in the NCAA tournament. So it might need more money or whatever the case may be to keep him. But nonetheless, they're in it. They're facing Texas A&M. They get that 7-10 matchup, and Penn State does legitimately get in. They didn't have to worry about the bubble. They almost win the tournament again. So I got to ask you this too, Joe. What do you think the Big Ten tournament run did for Penn State in terms of they got the 10? What did that do for them almost winning the Big Ten tournament? Prior to the tournament, most people thought they were still going to get in. It maybe felt to me like a first 4 situation, but maybe they would get in. Maybe this would be the result anyway. Do you think the Big Ten tournament run did anything to change their fate?
That's a good question. As far as seeding goes, I think if they beat Illinois and lost to Northwestern, they probably would have been an 11 seed, not a 10 seed, maybe playing in Dayton. So really, you're talking about a difference of like 1 seed spot. So I don't know if it made a huge impact seeding wise, but as far as raising the profile of this program, I mean, they played 2 games on CBS with Jim Nantz and Bill Raftery announcing. That's not something that would have happened if they beat Illinois, got in, and then lost to Northwestern on the Big Ten Network. So,
Right.
just being able to hear about packed bars in State College, watching the games, having Jim Nance call a Penn State game, which won't happen again this year unless they make the Final Four. But yeah, I definitely think that Penn State, I think after beating Illinois, was playing with house money as far as the tournament went, but as far as raising exposure, especially
Yeah.
winning the games in the manner that they did, beating Indiana with that exciting run at the end, which almost was a pretty embarrassing loss for Penn State, but then almost beating Purdue after being down by 17 at the 6 minute mark on CBS in front of a national audience. That's pretty good. And it got a lot of eyes on Penn State basketball before the tournament. And now maybe more people are going to be thinking about Penn State than they would have been.
Yeah, Joe Smeltzer again of Nittany Sports Now. The Penn State Nittany Lions, they get in the NCAA tournament. First one since 2011. Haven't won tournament games since 2001. And 2011, actually, oddly, I believe, was the last time that Pitt, Penn State, and West Virginia all made it in the same year. So Pitt, West Virginia, and Penn State all make it in the same year again. Penn State has good luck. That means good luck for the rest of the region and for the network, apparently. And we'll see, because as we talked about with George, there is a chance of Pitt, Penn State meeting in this tournament, even though Pitt has to go through the first 4. That would be something, and we'll see. I'd imagine, again, where the allegiances go. Obviously, there's more Pitt basketball fans than Penn State fans because they haven't been good for so long. But we'll see what happens if that is the game. Speaking on this matchup, though, before you get there, because no one's going to want to look ahead if you're on the program right now, Texas A&M, what do you know about them? What do you think this program's expecting out of that matchup? What goes into that matchup? Are they saying anything about that matchup in terms of Penn State's prospect of actually winning a tournament game, the first since 2001? As insane as that sounds for any program to have it go that long.
Yeah, Mike, admittedly, between just the craziness of the Big Ten championship run and
Right.
finding out when Penn State was playing, where Penn State was playing, I haven't looked too deep into Texas A&M yet, and I'm going to in the days ahead. But Penn State has the misfortune of running into one of the few teams in the country that's as hot as they are right now. Penn State won 8 of its last 10. A&M won 11 of its last 13. Both teams got to the conference championship games. Obviously, Penn State losing to Purdue, which we talked about. A&M losing to Alabama, pair of 1 seeds there. So no shame in that. But yeah, I think Penn State. I wouldn't say they got a bad draw, but I don't think it was an awful one. I think Penn State would have much rather been a 10 seed than an 8 or a 9, because you get to avoid playing a 1 seed in the second round. So,
Right.
and I don't know if Texas is the best 2 seed to play against, because obviously Texas just beat the team that I think is going to win the national championship. Kansas just beat them by 20 points. So facing Texas wouldn't be ideal, and I don't think A&M is a good first round matchup. I think that this is arguably the most intriguing matchup of the first round, just because there's a lot there. Both teams are hot. Both teams haven't been in the tournament in a while. Penn State, obviously, in a dozen years. A&M hasn't been since 18. You have 2 charismatic coaches with Shrewsbury and Buzz Williams. Shrewsbury's still building his national profile. Buzz Williams is established and has won at multiple schools. I think this is at least the second team he's gone to the tournament. I don't think he got Virginia Tech there when he was there, but yeah, there's a lot to like about this matchup. A&M's top 2 scorers are smaller guys, which is in Penn State's favor too. But Penn State, if they can shoot, they can beat just about anybody. So, but if they can't shoot, it could go the other way. So,
Yeah, it could, and yeah, they're not doing anyone any favors. Texas would be a rough matchup to say the least. But Penn State, I think, has surprised a lot of people, even getting to the Big Ten tournament final, and then even securing themselves and getting in. No one would have thought this prior to the year. And you are playing with house money. Even getting there is a big deal for you as an individual, as a head coach, and what you did with this program that, again, didn't care much about basketball prior to you getting there and hadn't had success in a while. And then, of course, getting to this point, and we'll see. I mean, this isn't something that Penn State's used to